Hey guys, Lee Godbold here with Junk Removal Authority. Check us out on junkra.com. What I want to talk to you today about is margins. Recently we had somebody pose us a question about margins. What are the margins in a junk removal business? And one of the things you've got to make sure that you cover or that you specify is if you're talking about gross margin or net margins. Gross margins is any expense directly related to the cost of goods sold, or in this case, the cost of providing your junk removal service. Net margins is after you pay administrative expenses, any salaries, interest, any other costs that it takes to call center reps, people taking the phone, grabbing calls, that sort of deal, managers and everything. Gross margins is directly related. A gross margin in junk removal business or a gross expense in a junk removal business would be fuel, would be wear and tear on the vehicle, would be the labor that it costs you to, your two guys on the truck going out there and completing the service, disposal fees, that kind of stuff. That would be considered gross. Net is going to be every other expense that comes out of your business. So when I wrote and told this gentleman that we shoot for about 15% margins, we need to take a little bit of that 15% and get us some better markers here. 15% margins was 15% net. It was not gross. And that is after, I'm going to show you what expenses come out of that we can actually add back to that should we have set our business up a bit differently, which would require me to work a heck of a lot more on junk removal than I do now. So 15% net. The gross margins, you're going to be closer to 40%. So whenever I always talk net though. I always talk net. Most people, they go with a higher number. I always go with a lower number. If I quote a figure, it's generally going to be lower than what we actually expect or is what we see in reality. I don't mess with gross because gross doesn't matter. Gross isn't as important to me as net. Gross does matter because you have to make sure that the service you're providing is actually profitable. You can base a lot of your pricing off gross, but at the same time, pay attention to net because net's actually what you bring home. So let's go through some of these expenses. When we say that we do about 15%, and that's what you should shoot for. Let's say we're doing $2 million a year. In actuality, it'll be more than that this year. This is about what we did last year. So $2 million in sales in a year. At 15%, that's $300,000 net profit. $300,000 net profit at 15% margins. But let's add some stuff back in here because there's some stuff that's taken out of here that doesn't necessarily have to be. Let's say that I didn't have JRA going on. I wasn't trying, we hadn't set up Junk Removal Authority. I was willing to work 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week plus on junk doctors. How much money could truly be made? Because a lot of people aren't including some of the other benefits and expenses that come out of their business. They may not have it set up this way when they're given margins. So for example, Christian and I, just between Christian and I, we make about $200K. So manager and myself, salary, about $200K. And we need to keep in mind here, since I started JRA, I work between 5 to 10 hours a month on junk doctors. Not a week, a month on junk doctors. So really, this needs to get readjusted because technically I'm overpaid for what the effort and the work that I'm actually putting forward to junk doctors. Though we use it for business, it's certainly not required. We use it to get to and from different locations, to our Charlotte location, meetings. We're starting to use it more for JRA now as we're going to start this TV show. I've got an airplane. That airplane, we own an airplane. That airplane just sitting, if we don't fly it a single hour, just sitting between insurance, hangar expense, annual cost, and other repair bills, is going to cost about $10,000 a year. Just to sit there. Just to sit there or do moderate flying. Some of the repair expenses would be lower, but about $10,000 a year. Basically doesn't include fuel or long-term expenses for such like an engine repair, which you have to allot for. My vehicle, between payments, lease payments, and yeah, we lease them. Christian, my vehicle is leased. We can write off 100% of all expenses. The payment on it's about $9,600. Say about $3,500 in fuel. So that's costing us about $13,000 a year. That doesn't include tires or any other repair expense at all in that vehicle. It's about $13,000. Christian's vehicle, the manager's vehicle, my business partner's vehicle. He's got a brand new F-250 diesel, Power Stroke diesel, crew cab, just a sweet ride. It cost us between payment, the payment on that's about $1,000 a month plus fuel. It's going to be somewhere around $17,000. Hope y'all like my handwriting. My healthcare, we have a healthcare policy for full-time employees. This is just mine. I'm not counting anybody else. Runs about $6,000 a year. And that might actually be low. I'd have to double check that. I think it might have gone up some. And then dispatch. If we wanted to work a lot, dispatch is a bit of a luxury. Or, is something that's just created just to have freedom in the business. Dispatch is going to cost us about $40,000 a year. So let's add these all together. I've already done the math, so I don't see with the calculator. The total on all this is $286,000. $286,000 of freedom, basically. That's what this is freedom. So when this business was set up, I didn't want something that I had to be there every single moment that a business relies on me. I work hard. I love working. But also, I love playing. I love going out of town. I love going on vacation. I like freedom. I like to be able to do what I want to do when I want to do it. That's the reason this business was set up. Even even Christian, my business partner and the manager of Junk Doctors, has dispatch, so it's not 100% even relying on him. So we've got some backup options in place where one person leaving is not going to affect the entire organization. And then on me working 5 to 10 hours a month between salary and gross, making between salary and net profit, making pretty daggone good money. So if I wanted to focus full time on Junk Doctors and not do JRA and just work, potentially this business could make $586,000 a year, which I have not done this yet. Here was 586 divided by 2 million.
Good question.
So just shy of 30% on $2 million a year revenue. What we did is, instead of going after this $586,000, I chose freedom, and took the opportunity to start Junk Removal Authority, where we can provide a lot more impact for more people throughout the country by helping them achieve this number if they want to, or the Junk Doctors number if they want to. We want to always encourage people to have freedom. Making a crap ton of money, that doesn't make you rich. Yeah, that might be part of being rich, but having freedom in your life to be able to go out and do what you want to do when you want to do it, that's truly rich. That's truly, you're free at that point. So this is very possible in junk removal. I've seen it, firsthand. It's extremely possible. Anybody that tells you it is not possible in junk removal, and that if you're out going after 15% net margins, that you're incorrect, is thinking small. I'm going to tell everybody, you need to be careful to expose yourself to small thinkers. If you're thinking big, you need to cut out the small thinkers. So if you're listening to small thinkers, cut them out. Listen to big thinkers that are telling you this is possible, that have done it, and you're going to be much more successful. You can always give us a call, 919-617-1975, 919-617-1975. Thanks, guys.